Alright, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Welcome to the NHK, episode 13. Alright.
Now, before we get too far into this episode, I gotta say, I apologize for the last episode. I was a little bit out of it, just not doing so hot there. But suicide is a really sensitive topic for me.
It is indeed, and this Suicide Squad is about to get broken up. So,
oh boy.
But Sato needs to have a talk with Hitomi, because the thing is, she brought him here without telling him that this is what was going on. And Sato doesn't know that his Nakama are on the way.
Right.
So he's going to handle it in the from that knowledge, right? But this is Sato in many ways the most positive place he's ever been. So if I were ever like I'm the least concerned about him being able to handle this that I probably would have ever been. Like this is the best.
You're not worried about the reverse crash where he comes down like extra hard because he realizes what's actually going on.
Well,
even though he now knows, and he is spiraling out of control because he now knows.
He definitely will have, like, because his legs have been kicked out from under him like crazy right now because he trusted Hitomi. He's like, this is the beginning of a new life. This is awesome. And then he realizes, oh, not only was she in a place where she wanted to kill herself, but she also thought little enough about me to have me come along, either to witness her kill herself or to join in. Or to potentially talk her out of it. Potentially. But that's not going to be where his mind goes to first. Even though she did leave that message, but Sato isn't really aware of all that stuff of go on without me if I'm late because I went to a friend's house last night and we did a lot of drinking. So,
But hey, at the very least, Misaki and Yamazaki and
what's his face?
Guy.
Boyfriend guy. Yeah, they are along the way. He's going to get very hot though, traveling in that suit. But anyways,
you want to see him strip down, just into something more comfortable?
It's for the sake of the Gal game kill.
But I see. This is going to be like a bonus event quest that like spawns like after you've been playing for a long enough time, and it gets like way too real, and the girl like has to deal with some existential crisis. And then you have to come in there with the ex-boyfriend and somehow like.
That moment when you realize that Hitomi and Madoka Magica getting cursed by the witch, and then going to the place where she's going to kill herself with all the other people is actually a reference to Welcome to the NHK.
Alright, y'all, my brain hurts now, so without further ado, let's jump into it.
They read the letter and they're like, no! Yeah, so they're assuming the worst.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's gonna come down to the wire, basically. Like, we're gonna be talking people off a cliff, basically. Yeah, and they're all actually...
Is he not
together on the...
talking to her?
Bonfire still. Yeah.
And Sato isn't confronting her about it. This is... Oh boy. Yep. It's
burning your ships, you know, kind of thing.
But what if I still want to go back?
Oh, no intention. Okay. He's literally gonna do the thing of like, let me do it. Grabs it, runs away. Wait. What? Oh no, no. Oh no. Yeah. Oh, this is cool. We can get the reveal before Sato does. Yeah. Don't you chotomate me. We gotta hurry!
佐藤さんがあなたにゲームを見せるなんて約束したせいで僕まで付き合わされて、佐藤さんを監視してたのなら最初から気づいていたはずです。佐藤さんの嘘に野良犬に餌を与えるようなことをするんですか？
No, I mean, you give hope and belief to someone that's something that helps a lot, you know.
死ぬ前にこんなうまい酒が飲めるとは。ってまだ死ぬ気はねえぞ。いかんいかん。つい雰囲気に飲まれて。
陰謀よ。この世界は陰謀でがんじがらめに縛られているの。
Oh. Oh.
普通じゃないことするしかないの。だからここで死ぬの。
だか
It's
ら
like this is
なんでそうなるんですか。
すぐに追いかけましょう。
でも船は。
Ah, yes, we do.
今借りる段取りをつけてきた。それで例の島に向かう。
Okay.
Do any of you know how to drive a boat?
I don't know which
Figure
island they
it
went
out.
to.
誰が操縦を？
小型船舶免許なら。
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
そっちを頼む。
Not only can you drive it, you can drive it legally.
本当はこうなることも予想してたんじゃないんですか？
違う。
What was the reason then? Get into it.
私には。
Yeah, you need Sato. Good, good.
だってやっと見つけた
That's
人だ
like
から。
me. Yeah.
私がやっと見つけた。
Oh.
大切な人なんだもん。
行こうか。
Oh man.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, what's their method?
この島の最初のオーナーはバブルの煽りを受けた。
Jumping from
この
here.
断崖から
Yep.
Oh boy.
Literally gonna have them be talked down from a cliff.
Yep.
Jeez.
上がらなかったそう
下手すれば助かっちゃうかも。
だ。漫画やドラマならいざ。実際にはありえない。
Yeah. From up here, the
You're
water's-
hitting concrete. Yep.
君のおかげで最後の一日を楽しみに
Okay, but what if like you enjoyed
Oh,
all
no.
the days?
No, are we gonna like slow this down by having it be a one by one?
Oh no, no, no.
なんとなくこうなる気がしてた。最後にそばにいてくれるのはきっと佐藤君だって。 同じ時代に生まれ変わることができたらまたトランプに付き合ってね。
一生付き合います。
ありがとう。
Time, time. Ah, there's not enough time.
あれだ。
こんなところで俺の人生が終わりを迎えることになろうと。
Come on, man.
Hey, this is a TV manga thing. They'll all survive that.
Yeah, it's actually because the water's breaking against the cliff. The surface tension isn't there,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's not actually like concrete.
先輩、やっぱ本当に脱ぎたくないなら履いたままで結構。
No,
That's not what I was referring
Yeah.
to. No, come on.
ダメだ。
Oh,
からお袋の顔しか浮かんでこねえ。やっぱり俺。
wow.
よ。
It's one of the others.
Yeah.
でも俺が死んで、お袋が悲しんでる様子を想像したら家族だっているんだろう。
Whoa.
all right.
私にはいないな。会社が倒産した時に妻は息子を連れて家を出て
Jeez.
私には悲しんでくれる
They'd
人
still
間がい
grieve.
て。
別れて暮らしてても親が死んだら
Yeah.
悲しいんだよ。
I like how he's
そんな
specifically
こともわかんねえ
going
の
for
か。
the sun, though.
あ
Yeah.
んただってまだ未練があるからこんな写真持ち歩いてるんだろうが。
Yeah.
またやり直せるだろう。
Wow.
僕両親の財布からとんでもない大金を盗んじゃったんです。
遊ぶ金か。彼に相談すればきっとうまく解決してくれるはずだ。
本当ですか？
Wow. They're all gonna end up talking each other off the cliff.
Yeah.
And then by the time they get there, it'll all be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Wow, that's 2 out of 5.
All right.
Sato, you can be 3 out of 5.
Well, more importantly, Sato. Say it, Sato.
Ah, Sato! Oh my gosh.
けど
佐藤君
Whoa.
これは陰謀よ
Whoa.
脱出しましょう
先輩
Brilliant. Get a megaphone. Yeah.
結婚しよう
Oh my god.
君のいない人生なんて僕には考えられない
俺は一体何が
Sato! Oh no! No! Why are you making this a comedy show? What?
死の
No!
このまま引き返したんじゃ惨めすぎる親だって死んだも同然と思ってますよ何を今更って感じっすよ
Oh, that's
so not true.
Oh, that's not true at all.
死ぬのが嫌なだけでしょ俺なんかロボの石だろうが
Oh, jeez. Yeah, Misaki! Misaki!
美咲ちゃん
血も肉もあるダメ人間だもん
Eh?
私が初めて見つけた野良犬より惨めなヒッキーだもの私には絶対佐藤君が必要なんだもの
Jeez.
死んじゃダメ絶対
Ah.
死なせてくれ
佐藤さんもうこれぐらいにしましょう僕らには自殺なんてドラマチックな事件に関われる資格はありません
Yeah,
どんなに落ち込ん
Misaki.
でも苦しんでもいつものバカバカしい日常に帰ってくるだけです。
帰ろう。
はい
Oh!
Crap.
No! No!
But this is a manga after all.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Wow.
He caught on like halfway, or is he at the very top? Oh, okay. Minagishi grabbed him?
Yeah.
Ah, because don't do that.
Because this is, you
There's
know.
manga, TV,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, that
uh-huh.
kind of thing. So, yeah.
New ED.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. I need a drink.
Okay. This is also very fitting. Because if the craziness of the previous OP was all the craziness going on inside Sato, by this changing, like, this is the right time for it to change too.
Oh my god.
That did not go the way that I thought it would.
I did not see all that coming.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah. I am thoroughly impressed with the show to be able to elicit such strong, I would say, moments for its characters here. Given the context of what's going on. This is a rather heavy episode.
Yeah, just a bit.
But in some weird way, I'm kind of happy.
Because this is something that Sato's now faced and addressed.
I think it's something that a couple characters got to face and address here.
Yeah.
Particularly with Misaki, actually.
Yes. Yes.
This is something that, as far as the flaws of our characters, they're rather apparent. It's very, very easy to see. And that's great because that makes us able to understand that they're characters, they're people. They've got
problems.
They have problems.
Yep.
And I don't think they can solve them. It's if they fail to take a really deep cut, no, never mind. Sorry. But Misaki has been one that they particularly have brought up how much she's been trying to act like she doesn't have flaws.
Right.
But we saw at multiple points along this first cour here where she would say things and we'd go, what the, hold up.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You like to see other people as less than you? Wait a minute. And then that comes back forward here to fruition where she needs someone to be someone to be in a worse place than her in this world so that her own suffering doesn't feel like it's
and I feel like more importantly
painful.
She needs to see someone that's she sees as worse than her that's still okay.
That's still okay.
Right. And I feel like that's very important because it's this idea that all right, there's the seeing people as less than you in order to feel good about yourself.
Right.
As the arrogant thing. But then there's also as the last thread that you're holding on to.
Yep.
Of if they're doing okay, if they're
able to make it through this,
then I can make it through what I'm going through.
It's a very selfish way of looking at things,
but it's in many ways it's kind of practical. Now there are limits to how far you can take that because you're not the other person and things like that and whatnot.
And I understand in a lot of ways why she would come to that conclusion. It is still but it's great though because now they're all going to be on the same boat. They're all going to have a lot more ways that they can connect with each other and understand each other than things that will divide them. And I love the thing that was happening here that was kind of the brilliant cliche, which was all the others end up having to be the ones to talk him down off the cliff. And instead of it being a thing of where he was able to hold on to it, it was no, as time went on, as even they brought it up in a comedic way, the idea that Hitomi, no, she's not going to spend the rest of her life with you.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's right. And the thing is, and that's what gets at the kind of the root of the problem in this situation is that Sato doing this change, it was great because he's believing I can change, right? And he's going at it with gung-ho, full of energy.
Yep.
But it's still something where he's making that dependent on the actions and the behaviors of someone
another
else,
person,
rather than him deciding for himself.
Yep.
Which is the issue, right?
Well said.
Because and I guess that's why he didn't go and talk to her about it because in some ways he was so scared of what she might say since this whole new him rested entirely on what she did.
Yep.
He didn't want to rock the boat. So because the thing is that in this situation, if he was in this state but out of something that came from truly within, right? Even if it was feeble and weak and all that stuff and it could be damaged and all that stuff because he's new at this and he's a human being and all that.
Sure.
Then he still could have at least maybe had the courage to go up to her and talk to her. And that was one of the reasons why I was kind of worried that she brought other people along.
Yeah.
Is that maybe he wouldn't have the courage to talk to her about it. Now, granted, this was for different reasons that he didn't have the courage to talk to her about it, but because she believed the lie that no one cared about her. Right. And that's why she went to him, because she figured even if my boyfriend doesn't care about me, at least this guy cares about me, right?
Yeah.
Now they had the boyfriend come back and they did that whole thing. Great, awesome. It's a bit of a, because this is an anime thing, right? It's able to have the dramatic conclusion of they talk the megaphone and all that stuff, right? It's fantastic. From the standpoint of Sato, if he had opened up to her, there is a very good possibility that this maybe could have been resolved without them needing to talk, like to come in and speak on a megaphone and talk people down from the ledge, right? But I guess that's not where Sato's at right now, which is fine, right? That's all part of the process, and he's working on himself, and because he's not in this by himself, he's not in this alone. When he has those moments of weakness, that's okay because he's got friends, right?
Right. what also might be really cool, where this whole thing could all be spun for the better, is he might have just made 3 new friends.
Yeah. Yep.
Like here's the part about this that I love from a grand story perspective. Dealing with suicide, dealing with the dark thoughts that bring you to this place, and having your own, I would say, almost human empathy bring back one of them. Just the idea of him not wanting to bring his old nan, his grandma or his mom or what have you, pain upon having to grieve for him. Is brilliant, because the pain at which brought them there was such that it was self-focused, and then once they started thinking about others, then they end up helping each other out. And then Minigishi, I love his bit of where he brings it up as, no, like, I've actually don't have anyone that would grieve for me. Look. And he brings up exactly the people that will grieve for him. It's these little things that people subconsciously do to try and give themselves a little bit of hope, even though they're intentionally suppressing them. And then it basically gives them feel of like, no, look, that kid right there. Don't you think he would grieve knowing that his father died? Don't you think that would hurt him? And Minigishi can't deny it. So it's this snowball effect that continues around. And then the fact that it could have all continued with these good feelings bringing around to the 5 of them, and then it could have had Sato being like, no, I need you, and then they're all saved in this regard. They went for, I would say the more ridiculous way of doing things, but also I would say the more dramatic and leading to a more painful scene, which was the boyfriend coming up with the
megaphone, and
well, it's not a megaphone. I realize it's the boat like speaker, thing, and he's like, "No, I need you. I'm gonna marry you." And Sato's just like, "Well, guess I'll die then." Like,
and they did it in such a like darkly comical way. Like I figured he wasn't being serious in like entirely, and then and I'm like, oh no. Right, and the way they handled it this episode of like, because the whole idea of Sato being suicidal, right? We know that he has been in the past, right? And by having it be something where he is not addressing that side of himself, right? Because I feel like once you are open and honest with yourself in order to deal with those feelings and thoughts, they can go away fairly quickly once you think about the fact that there would be people that would miss you, right?
Usually you're not thinking about,
right, but and that's why once you can get it out into that space where you can think about it, right, right, where you're not just ignoring it and then but still feeling it, right, and I don't know, I'm not a professional, right, but the idea that Sato was kind of being swept along with this up till the last moment because I feel like the fact that he never killed himself, right? They were half-hearted attempts, but then suddenly here's something where he kind of has a forcing function. Everyone else is doing it, right? And that gets him to be able to he still tricks himself into thinking that I'm not at that place because he's saying no, I'm gonna try and stop this or whatever, but he doesn't actually do it, right? He doesn't actually do the things that he knows might be able to put a stop to it, right? He doesn't actually object to what they're doing. So, and then when finally the moment comes and they start backing out of it, now there's this part of him. Now, and granted, he wasn't really. Yeah, it wasn't.
It was Hitomi though.
Yeah, it was Hitomi. Yeah, but
okay, so. Okay, can I fill in a little bit of your thoughts a little bit here?
Yeah,
I think I'm understanding where you're going with this. But the thing about this is primarily that a lot of what made Sato, I would say, hikikomori, was that there was a lot of effort required to do the things that would make him live a normal life. And those things basically he didn't see as valuable because that hard effort has to be put towards something that would at least require him to have some measure of selfishness.
Sure.
And I don't even think he has enough value for himself to even be selfish.
Right. Yeah.
So in this case, it was all inconvenient to speak up and say anything because
Right.
he had already given it a little bit of
Exactly.
effort earlier,
Yep.
and he didn't get rewarded with anything
Right.
for said effort.
Mhm.
So then when things start moving along in this way and he realizes, oh, that they
Mhm.
are actually going to do this,
Yeah.
he would rather, and this is something I think that's the positive bit on this, he would rather be with them in the inconvenience or in the convenience of just going along with their bit there than being alone and inconvenience, the situation by trying to talk them down off a cliff.
Right. Which might be then, and then once he's presented with a convenient means of killing himself, right? If he jumps off that cliff, he will die. It will not be something where he'll have to drown or whatever. No, like,
right,
he's dead.
But he didn't know they were gonna kill him that way. So I want to go this a step further and say I think that him staying with them is actually his character development. He would rather, in some ways, be with people in depression and darkness and figuring out things and stuff like that,
Sure.
than alone with his own darkness, figuring out with that a bit of that there. And while it is, I would say, more terrifying because he could just be left on the island forever and never be found because there's no boat fuel.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's also, I'd say, a very human response. So there's a lot of fear associated with that. I think that it is interesting that when all was said and done, Sato was surrounded by people that cared about him.
Mhm.
Like, do you realize that the dramatic twist of that?
And in a lot of ways, that, because of the conspiracy thing and all that stuff, right? Even more so, he started rejecting it at that point. Now, granted, they were able to talk him off the ledge, and then he ended up almost falling. And the real thing that pushed him onto the ledge was the fact that Hitomi didn't really seem to care about him, right? Which, understandable given that this whole the mustering up of courage and willpower in order to do the things that were previously uncomfortable, he derived from a source that was not himself, right? That's what made it easy, which convenience, that whole thing.
And then it all collapsed like a house of cards once she...
Exactly. And now he had a convenient excuse and he had a convenient means, right? And
but
there you go.
It was also something that hurt. So
oh, definitely.
He was very emotionally invested in the idea that he would be reborn out of this life because of this angel that had saved him.
Right.
Which, that doesn't sound familiar at all, Sato.
Oh, yeah.
You just exchanged Misaki for a different...
Right. Yep.
Femme savior.
Right, because this one won't be a part of the conspiracy because she knows about the conspiracy.
Because she's self-aware. Yeah. Oh, man, Sato, I understand and feel you like so much in these kinds of moments.
Yeah, when I say that it was convenient, I don't mean that it wasn't from place of pain and things like that, right?
Okay.
But it was that it was a convenient culmination of all the pain and stuff that he had been dealing with into a singular moment, right? Where he stoked all his he staked all his hopes and everything on Hitomi and then fell apart.
Right. And another way to say it would be it was a natural conclusion based on where the environment was pushing him.
Yes.
It was something that he felt pushed into it rather than a convenient choice.
Right. And that's
it was something that he felt like this
exactly.
he was guided towards this natural conclusion.
Right. And in many ways, even though this is not a situation that him or anyone would want to be in and or should be in as a means of trying to bring about positive change, in this situation, it at least caused him to be forced, right? It persuaded him to confront that dark side of himself, even though he wasn't going at it from the standpoint of confronting, but because his friends were there and able to literally pick him up, catch him and pick him up off the cliff. Now at least he has acknowledged that side of himself to himself. Yeah. And now he'll need to reconcile that. He'll need to deal with all of that and stuff. But this is basically a checkpoint that he can't go behind, right? He can't undo what happened here. Yeah. So now he'll have to come to terms with that.
Yeah. I've got a lot of value that I place in this episode in a I would say a very obtuse way. And that is that when the end of the episode happened, this is something that's so simple to me, but I think it's really powerful, is that they chose to end the episode this way, was that he collapses after hearing, you know, all the things that they've said. And they kind of go through the three of them there. Misaki, you know, the hey, hikikomori guy.
Yeah.
Misaki stops him from, you know, continuing by being like, hey, yeah, you're not just a rock on the, you know, on the wayside there. But then Yamazaki being like, hey, you know, we don't get this kind of dramatic, you know, thing there. We've got to go back to our mediocrity. That's at least something. What I like about this is that at the very end, Sato lets out a dramatic end in a lot of ways to the culmination of this. But it's in that brilliant, painful bit of voice acting that Misaki then echoes it down in kind. So this is something that I kind of want to bring up here, is that when you have a person who is I would say having to come to grips with their own emotions and their own internal stuff, being able to let out basically that unearthly wail of just pain and anguish is important. It's not good to keep that bottled up. Right. But what's cool here is that if he hadn't have done that, I don't think Misaki would have had the opportunity or felt she had permission to claim that moment as also a big milestone for her as well. So I have a story that'll take a very small amount of time, but there was a point where there were some friends of mine, and I don't think any of us were suicidal, but a couple of us were really feeling powerless in the situation we were in. And I suggested, and a couple of them agreed because they thought it would be a good thing. So like, let's just walk out in the night and talk about it. And we did. And we walked basically along this highway. This highway that's a huge highway, goes on forever. And there's this little bike kind of concrete way that could just go forever. So we can't get lost. We can't really, you know, bump into any problems, really. We could bump into maybe someone, but we're tall, you know, young guys. We don't look like, you know, we're easy prey for any, you know, one out there, what have you. But it's late. It's like midnight. It's dark. You know, it's a perfect night for talking. We end up talking, and we come to the conclusion that it would be really important for each of us if we all let out all of the anguish, the emotion, all the everything that we keep bottled up in that moment. And I was not able to go first. One of the guys, bless him, was just once it was just suggested, that was all the impetus reason he needed. And if you heard the guttural he sustained it, and I like choked back tears immediately on hearing that, because I'm like, oh my god, like just feeling someone else doing this like 5 feet away, you know, literally like doing
drenched up all the stuff,
all that everything just came out in me, and I was just like, oh now it's real. Now I feel like I'm actually addressing it. Now it's a thing where when I go to let it out, it's not going to be I'm just doing it for the sake of doing it. It's like, oh, it's right there. There are images in my mind. There are specific memories. There are all these things where I go, oh, that's why I need to do this. And this person just here to the, you know, to the left of me gave me permission to do that. And that whole moment then just became this really powerful, like, okay. And in some ways, it was because it was convenient to do, because we were grouped up to be able to do this. But it was the fact that this person started it, that now I'm able to go, oh, okay, I can do this too. And it was a really powerful moment. So I resonate really well with that here.
One of the things that I feel like is so important about doing things like that when you need to is because by the very nature of you know, making any kind of you know, like sometimes, you know, I'll just go and cry into a pillow, right?
Mhm.
Or you know, go shout into the night, right? By the very nature of that happening, you are acknowledging what's going on inside you, and you are basically doing something, even if it's something as simple as, you know, letting out a guttural scream, right? To alleviate that, to come to terms with that. In many ways, to fight that, even if you don't have the energy to actually fight it, even if that's your last little bit, right?
Yeah.
But it's still something. It shows that you're not defeated, right?
Sure.
And I feel like in the situations that these characters have been in, it's something where if that doesn't happen, then just at a random point, because of them being in a really low emotional state, like say Sato here, he goes to the darkest solution, right? Once he cries out, though, that is basically a signal to Misaki that I haven't given up. I'm still fighting. It might not be a fight that I know if I can win. It might be something where this is all I've got and it's not much, but this is what I've got, right?
Yeah.
That basically lets her know, one, it's okay to be vulnerable like that, but two, yeah, maybe I can fight back too. Maybe there's, if you know, because if he's a hikikomori loser, right? You know, and he's got all these issues, and he's still doing that little bit to fight back.
Yep.
Then yeah, all right, I can do this too.
Yeah.
And that's like, I love how that gets at the whole idea of, one, you need other people. We all need other people, right? Because we all have our low moments, right? And our low moments will be different from person to person. Yeah, of course, we're different people. But the idea that, you know, we should keep those people around that we can lean on, right, when we need them. And by leaning on them, that can give them untold amounts of strength for whatever they're going through. Because
let people know that you need them.
Yeah. It is such an incredible thing when you realize that someone needs you, right? And in a lot of ways, that was what was getting these people to you know, back away from the ledge. Is that they're realizing, oh no, there actually are people. And even if it's something where, say, you know, it's the dad and he doesn't get to see his son, right? That's still someone that needs him. You know, even for the other kid who's like, yeah, I really hate my old lady. You know, like my mom, she sucks. And yet, when I think about how this would hurt her, destroy her, I can't do it. Right? And that's why those moments of vulnerability are so important. Because in this situation, right, there's the moments of vulnerability that they show each other. But this is also calling into like all those points of connection and moments of vulnerability that they've had with all those people in the past that they cared about, right? It's knowing that, yes, say my mom isn't invincible, right? She can get hurt by things, and this would and because I know that, because she's shown that to me, I know exactly what this would do to her. So I can't do it. You know, in the same way that Sato was able to call up all these crazy reserves of willpower and confidence and you know, bravery and everything to do all the things that he did leading up to this point, they were able to call into that just from a thought. So
yeah, we've got a lot to look forward to with the characters here now. This is a good midway finale, basically.
And the changing of the ED is so fitting here. Like I usually and that ED I still personally prefer to the ED that we got, right? Like it's a really good ED. But as far as for the characters and for Sato himself specifically, perfect time to have it happen.
So y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below or our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, about, just whatever. Like Jacob's awesome book that he wrote.
That's right. I wrote a sci-fi novel. It's called Battle Lines. It's available in both hardback and ebook on Amazon. Links in the description. Make sure to go check it out.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.